because if you went up to that 100,000 with the Larson bill, and you go to 100,000 first a gallon, you're going to owe all the taxes going back for that first 100,000 gallons.
Keeping in mind that you don't get to change your mind if 10 years from now you find out you're pumping down on your thought. We get probably one bite of this apple in a generation.
And it also is based on production, not removal from bond.
It's based on removal from bond.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Yes, the ones that we're supporting are based on removal.
No, but the Larson bill?
It's production.
Production.
Yes, it's based on production.
Yeah.
And this was why we elected to go with the first 100,000 proof gallons. And listing Fiscus as agent, it gave us opened a lot of doors up in Washington that we couldn't get through, or at which we had been stopped out without even realizing it for a long time. Regardless of what your opinion of Discus and their members might be, the fact is they are the big dogs. They know everybody in DC. They've been very successful in working to establish new modern legislative laws for us all to contend with, rather than the 80-year prohibitionary laws that was started. And their assistance has been invaluable in just getting the attention of the legislators, getting time, sitting down. They know the path through that maze. Whether or not they add what we might decide is something we don't really care about, which is that extra gas, is not really relevant, because of the fact that if they decided that they didn't want our tax payment to go through, we would not get in the doors in DC, and we wouldn't even know why they were being locked to us. And this is an important point.
Actually, I think the main point to be made from our perspective on the context of these bills is that ACSA's priorities from our membership, what they've directed us to do is get this 270 reduction. That is our number one priority, and across the board. That's what we're here to do. And so what we are doing is looking for a vehicle to get that through the door. You know, that there's other stuff that's maybe gravy, there's other things that can happen, maybe we get something else done, maybe we don't. You know, we have 47 other priorities that go after that, but that's number one. So what we're here to do is find a way to get that through the door. 270 reduction on the first 100,000 gallons. That's our number one goal. So any bill that has that in it, basically, we're supporting.
So, but what I hear you saying is that, I mean, bills are going to change.
Yep.
You're trying to get the football down across the goal line, and you're first and 10 on the 10-yard line on your own 10-yard line.
Exactly.
What elements need to be in a bill to score the touchdown? And if there were no element, I mean, you made it clear about the production, but I mean, what other elements, if they were not in the bill, would Discus withdraw its report or not pursue that particular legislation, that particular need?
That's a really good question, and that's that's one that we have kind of been asking ourselves, and I think that landscape is going to shift over time. You know, the development of the relationship with Discus has been really tentative, right? That they don't know if they trust us to be professional and to be competent and to be trustworthy, and we don't know if we trust them. You know, we have spent years, I mean, as Ralph said, you know, we've spent years just kind of coming to the table with them. And so it's very fluid. We're in the room, we're talking, they've agreed to commit their resources. They have a board of directors to answer to as well. I think it's maybe useful to reference. We also tried to sort of put together a table that shows who directs each of the groups. And you can see Discus is right in the middle of that table, and it shows who their member companies are, who have a vote in the priorities of their organization. And so those are the companies that are going to decide, whether or not Discus continues to support a bill as the process moves forward. So that board, they aim for a unanimous vote on their board to do anything major. They, really try and minimize dissent within their association. So that's kind of partly how we came here so far. And the opinions of those board members can shift pretty notably over time. I think the one that's going to be pretty intractable is Purnell. I'm sure, some of you guys, if you follow, Mark Brown, you saw the CEO of Purdue declared this like war on craft. And, he's pretty playful about that. But the other members, they can change their mind, and, he was sort of, I think they were a little bit like strong-armed into working with us because they recognize the value that, the authenticity and the wider reach that the craft guys bring. But it's going to shift over time. So depending, as we move forward in this, if they're going to also respond to the complexity of the legislative situation. So it's really hard for us to make a prediction about what they're going to do when we don't know the context of that prediction. The $9 provision is very important to them, but whether or not dropping that means that we're going to lose them entirely is going to really depend on how and when we handle it and how and when we handle ourselves, which is really big. But I think the principle of this whole thing is that it's a constantly shifting landscape of decisions, that you're weighing politics and everybody's doing that. And so we can't really predict what's going to happen. We're at the mercy of the storm of partisan politics in DC. So it's really hard to predict what's going to happen.
Small distillers.
One we just a chance.
Yeah, sure.
Respond. I think Ralph makes a tremendous point about discus. And the fact that they have agreed to move forward together, it's a big deal. Because he's right, you're not going to get any traction holding pitchforks and marching up and down Capitol steps. It's not going to work. You got to have the big players who are willing to say, yes, let's go do something together. That's a big deal. It took a lot of work and effort. And whether or not discus is to be trusted or not, I don't think is an issue. And whether or not the craft guys are trusted or not is not an issue, because we all have the same goal in mind, which is we got to lower the excise tax. Right? Everybody agrees with that. The complexity of the legislative process, Nicole's exactly right. We don't know what it's going to look like, and it may be that none of the bills get marked up in the committee. They might just go straight to the floor in October or November or December. Right now, it looks like the highway bill may be the vehicle for that, and it could be thrown in there at the last minute. And who knows what it's going to say at 11 o'clock at night. So, but the point is to have more voices involved, I think, and to get more and more people coming together and bringing the disparate parts of the country into the fold, because August, all the members come back for recess, and they're going to be in the parades, they're going to be doing Labor Day stuff, they're going to be having office hours and visits. This is the time to start hitting them up. And my whole goal in this entire effort has been to figure out how do we get more vibrancy and activity going on to support the effort of what's going to happen. I'd like to ask about the 600-pound gorilla in the room. I'm going to put my mindset into somebody who's a little more cynical out here and just ask it. And if I put you on the spot, I don't care. I guess that's my job. But I think you'll get this question tonight over here. If the big guys, let's call them the big guys, let's put a blunt head on it, lost the $9 tax reduction, and distillers got it, where does that put discus? Where do you think that puts discus?
Well, it's a question we haven't yet asked discus straight out. But the thing to remember is that you all are as important to discus as they are to us. When discus goes to DC and lobbies for law changes, they've got maybe 2 states backing them up, and the legislators from those 2 states. When they look at this group, they see every single state and the legislative power of every single state. And to some extent, that balances out the differences between the 2 groups. They need our support for anything that they do going forward, as much as we need their support to get in the door. So if they remove that, if the $9 is removed, it would be a mistake, I believe, a mistake for discus to turn their backs on us. Because the next time that they want a law passed or changed, we can all turn around to them and say, well, you just walked away from us. And that's an important thing for everybody to remember, is that although we don't have all the money in the world that they have, what we do have is all 50 states, the legislative power of the states. So our job now, the ACSA's job, is to make sure that we keep the legislature focused on that parity issue, $2.70, and not have them focused on the differences between the opinions in the industry. We know, as Nicole said, for the first couple of years we were going to DC, we had to keep reminding everybody that there's a difference between brewers and distillers. And we are not the brewers, and we're not all fighting one another. That was the first thing they asked us every time we walked into a senator or congressman's office. So, are you brewers? Have you settled the differences yet? We're not the brewers. And we're together because it's our little guys organization and the big guys organization working together to try to get this relief. So we don't want it to be perceived, we don't want you to perceive the whole thing as that, if Discus loses their $9 rate, they're going to walk away. Keep in mind that we have something valuable to them, extremely valuable to them.
And also, there's a couple different ways for them to walk away, which I think is also worth noting. If they walk away at the 50-yard line or at the 2-yard line, that's going to be a really different situation. I don't play football. I'm just going to go back to the court. I don't know why I just keep it. But if they, if we're inches away from the end zone versus half a field away, them walking away at different times are going to have a really different impact on the legislation. So that can be different, depending on the timing of it. And there's also a couple different ways for them to walk away if that happens. So they could walk away when we both look at one another and shake hands and say, we've come as far as we can come with this. Our interests were aligned and now they're not. Our couple of our board members really have their teeth in this $9 provision, and we just can't feasibly support you. We're going to continue to sort of help you behind closed doors because now we have this line of communication open. We'll give you some guidance. We can no longer commit our resources. We'll become neutral. That's one way for them to maybe walk away from the table. Then there's another way for them to walk away from the table, which could be screw you guys, get your shit together. We're going to call everyone we have a connection with and make sure that they never return another one of your phone calls. That would be a really different type. There's a couple different ways for them to walk away. So, there's still some different things that happen. I think that's what they're saying.
You'd think members of Congress would know the difference between beer and bourbon.
You would.
Yeah, distilling and brewing.
They know it. They know the difference when they're drinking it. But as far as who makes it is another story.
I don't think that anybody would give cause for Discus to get upset and walk away. I don't see anybody in the room here or anybody else who's going to go out there and start attacking Discus or doing anything to start asking members of Congress back in the district to start doing something that would be opposed to their interest. But the point Ralph brought up about beer is a big deal. For several years, the beer guys at different levels have been fighting vehemently with one another in the city. And they finally got agreement. That's a big deal. That's been the roadblock for the last several years on a lot of this stuff. And so the fact that you're seeing, I think, this much momentum around beer and wine, and we're included in the bill, it's a big deal. And it seems to be picking up steam big time. And I think for all the great work that's been done, segmenting the industry out by liquor, beer, and wine, the fact that everything is converging and coming together, it puts it with its right distance. I really do. But we're not going to do anything stupid to go out there and keep this as pissed as house. That's not the goal. Hey, can I ask another 600-pound gorilla in the room question?
Is it okay? Would you mind if I respond to that?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to take you off. We're going to take a segue, but I think it is worth just noting that some of what's on the table, it's worth noting that some of what's on the table right now, and the idea of starting some federal lobbying from a group that's not a trade association is putting this effort at risk. Discus is not happy about it, but so are a lot of legislators not happy about it, because we've been spending the last year telling them that we're unified as an industry, that we've worked really hard to bring the trade associations to the table together, and that was really important to them. As Ralph said, the first question they asked us every time we walked in the door was, are you guys fighting, right? Or am I going to get if I co-sponsor this bill, am I going to get an angry call from another lobbyist? Are you guys, I have enough of my own political problems, am I going to get pulled into your political problems? And we spent the last year telling them, no, no, no. Like, we're together, and we've worked really hard to get together, and we are working together. There's no risk in working with us. We're on the same page. And then for this third thing to come in, you know, it does put this at risk because no, the pact that's on the table and the idea of bringing a third player that's not a trade association into the federal level lobbying, we've had a lot of phone calls. We were like, what the hell? You know, you guys said that you were united, and now who the fuck is this guy calling us? You know, you said that you were on the same page. You told us you were ready to move forward. We trusted you. We started to move forward, and now I find out that you're not actually. You know, what is happening? And so, whether it's a good idea or not, whether we agree with this or not, you know, we want to bring everyone into the room. You know, when we said that we were a united industry, we're not excluding anybody from participating in our efforts, but this is putting it at risk. And so, you know, I know we want to move on and ask another question, but I just felt like it was important to put that out there.
Justin, can you speak from the AEI's perspective?
I don't want to speak for ADI because I'm
No,
not.
but do you know where they're coming from?
Well, for probably the first 6 months of the year, they've been getting requests from small distilleries to get involved and figure out something to do. And based on conversations going on the last couple of months, it became apparent that they need a way to report back and start to get their broader part of their industry in alignment. How many people in the room want to lower the federal excise tax? Raise your hand. How many people in the room want to raise?
That guy didn't raise his hand.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
How many people in the room want to raise the federal excise tax on liquor? So there's no opposition to what's going on. There's, as far as I can tell, there's no fighting in the industry. There's no one who's walking around without a unified voice. The unified message is lower the federal excise tax. And that's the message. And regardless of the group that brings that forward, as long as everyone's singing from the same choir book, the fact is ADI, I believe, has a broader membership base. I believe that they have a larger number of members that they reach on a daily basis. And I think that ACSA has done a tremendous job. But I don't think they necessarily have the messaging and outreach to the bulk of the membership that ADI has. That's my whole vision, is figure out how to get more of the smaller guys who comprise that bigger group involved in the battle. That's the whole thing. Nobody here wants to upset the apple cart or start having different messaging. We all want to lower the excise tax. We all want to do it the same way.
Do you understand what's here? Sure. I keep grabbing that.
I think that we're all in agreement that we want to see a lower excise tax. There's no question there. The problem is that when you go to DC and you start making the rounds around the legislature and you're talking to these congressmen and senators, they have other agendas they have to deal with. As Nicole said, they don't want to adopt our political problems. Now, it may seem like a good idea to throw another party into this discussion, but the congressmen and senators want to see unification in the industry among the distillers themselves, among the producers. Now my guess is, I think that ADI has 900 members or so, would you say? 900 members, is that close?
DSP members.
That would be my next question, is what percentage of that are DSP members? I would guess probably of ADI, my uneducated guess would be that no more than 20% of them hold DSP licenses, or probably less than that. So that organization, as a privately held company, is not an industry association. It's not made up of you. You may be a member of ADI. I'm a member of ADI. My distillery is a member of ADI. Because we want a seat at the table. We want to hear what's going on, and we want to know what's going on. But when I turn to an industry association, I want to turn to you. I don't want to turn to the guy who's making booze in his basement and who loves distilling his corn whiskey in his garage. Because they're not the ones who are going to make a difference to my business or to your business. And they're also not going to be the ones that are going to make a difference to a senator or a congressman has to decide who is he going to listen to, who represents the industry itself. If you have an organization which is not an industry association, which is not recognized by the largest producers in the country, in the world, as an industry association, the legislature is going to look at the industry. They're going to ask the industry what's wrong. If there's a problem in the oil industry, they don't go just to Mobil and have Mobil come and lobby for the whole industry. They talk to the association that represents all of them. And that's what we're trying to do. And if you feel in some way like that's been sort of out of touch for you, let me just tell you, we have the website, we have a lot of information on the website. This has not been a secret operation. We've gotten a lot of press for this over the last 6 years. When we introduced 777 with Maurice Hinchey, that got national press right away. And so anybody who feels as if they're on the outside of what's going on, all you need to do is pick up the phone or search on American Craft Spirits Association and look at the documentation, and it will tell you what we've been doing.
I apologize. I would just add to that in terms of lobbying at the federal level, ADI does have a broad reach, and when you're talking about messaging, if you're talking about marketing and messaging and getting people involved, yes, absolutely, they have a broad messaging platform, and that's something we've been trying to work with them on from day one. But that's not what they're talking about now. They're talking about lobbying. They're talking about going to DC, and legislators. There is a fundamental difference between being a private business owner, a for-profit LLC, and lobbying Congress, and being a registered nonprofit trade association. And it manifests itself in a lot of ways, but I think the most important way is that we truly go in and represent all of our members. That the people who control the actions of our association, the way that we spend our money, what we set as our priorities, what we do when and how, when we shake a politician's hand and make a deal and have a negotiation, they know that we speak for everyone who elected us. But as a private business, it does not work the same way. They're not answerable to their members. So it's not appropriate for them to lobby on behalf of more than that one person. Kelly Shalene is an amazing person and also incredibly supportive of the craft beverages who runs Craft Beverage Expo. She runs the Successful Trade Association. She has a really broad reach. She doesn't go lobbying in DC. And I think that's an important distinction, and worth pointing out for the purposes of this discussion.
I think in Olympia, the way we designate this is on any one issue, we assume that a legislator looks at us and says, is there an individual contribution behind this lobbyist on this issue, or is there a political action committee behind this lobbyist on this issue? One more cynical question. I feel like I'm the guy who's supposed to ask the cynical questions about the 600 company. But, ADI or ASCA, ACSA, I'm sorry. If I'm one of these small craft distillers out here, I'm saying, why do we have to give the big guys so much? And I guess, why do we have to give them so much in this deal? And is this the best deal, political or otherwise, saying any one of these bills gets across the goal line? Is that the best deal that we could have?
The best deal that we can get is to reduce our tax to $2.70 a gallon. That's the best deal we can get. Someone else benefits
for
everybody. And if someone else benefits from it, if Diageo benefits from it to the tune of $1 million a year, it's a drop in the bucket to them. Who the hell cares? You get your discount, and that's what matters. I don't have to watch somebody else go down the tube in order to enjoy my own success. Also, I just want to point out that in the Wyden bill, in the Paulson bill rather, which is, I guess, identical to the Wyden bill, there are 2 tax breaks for the larger producers for beer and wine, but there's no tax breaks for the larger spirits producers. There's no parity at all. And the fact is that, we're a small operation. My distillery is a small operation. We were very fortunate early on that we got in early and that we picked up a really major client for one of our whiskeys. Pretty soon, we're going to go up 100,000 proof gallons a year, probably within the next year or two. I don't want to turn around to my CEO, turn around to my investors and say, sorry, we can't make any more money, because if we do, we're going to be hit with another $1.5 million in taxes. You have to have the ability to grow as far as you want. Part of that is learning to get along with everybody in the industry, not just with the people who are producing the same amount and the same type of things that you do. We have to be able to work together. And the important message that we bring is that ACSA is a recognized and accepted industry association. DISCUS has accepted us. The legislators we've spoken to have all accepted us. And it would be very difficult to get this thing to move any further forward, or get it to be taken any more seriously, if suddenly another player, unknown to everyone, shows up on the field. One who has a profit motive. ABI is a company. They have a profit motive. There's no question about it. And they should. And they should make lots of money. But they shouldn't do it representing you.
Just to answer your question a little bit, just to answer your question more specifically, is this the best deal we can get? I would say we don't know yet, to be totally honest, because the circumstances that surround the bill passage are going to dictate what the best deal is that we can get. So depending on the circumstances of the bill and the vehicle we choose, is it offered as an amendment to a broader bill? Is it worked into a markup? Depending on the avenue and the vehicle that the bill goes through, that's going to dictate, what's the best deal that we can get. So if something like the Wyden bill moves, and we have, if that moves forward, there's probably more opportunity for negotiation, because there's a lot of different provisions, and so there's a lot of discussion. There's more things on the table, so there's more room for negotiation. If the 2520 passes and that $9 provision is in the House version, not the Senate version, there's so many things that are going to dictate what the best deal is that we can get, that it's really hard to say at this juncture, because we don't know what's going to happen when we go through committee markup. We don't know what the broader political spectrum is going to be like, what the broader political landscape is going to look like. And the only other thing I would add, and I really have something important to say, is just that we have a really narrow window kind of right at this moment before the presidential election occupies all the legislators' time. So we have a lot of momentum. I think in terms of negotiating the best deal we can get, this is our window, because we have the momentum, people are listening to us, we're kind of able to ride the coattails of beer and wine and the even bigger momentum that they've built in order to gain notoriety for what we're doing. People are paying attention. There is a desire on both sides to show a little bit of productivity coming into the election season. So we do have a window of opportunity now that we're probably not going to have until the second year of whoever the next president might be. And so that's important to note, that it's kind of now or like 2 or 3 years from now. So it's just something else.
Every president has 18 months to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Or she, forgive me.
Just want to clarify what.
Just be real quick. Before Justin goes, if you've got questions, raise your hand, and we'll start that portion of the program.
I just want to clarify what Ralph had said about 2903 and the White bill. It's true that beer producers get a $2 per barrel tax break on their first 6 million barrels, which is $12 million. Okay? And the wine group gets credit reduction as well, significant one. It's not on the sheet here. It wasn't the original sheet. That's where the reduction from 1350 to 270 goes down. The first 100,000 proof gallons, everybody gets to celebrate with that. It's about $1 million a year, regardless of whether it's one of you here or us or you or the big guys from Discus. So they get it. I agree with Ralph. It's not parity. The big guys get $2 million in tax savings on beer. The distilleries get up to $1 million in tax savings on beer. That's not parity. It's not insignificant, and I think it's something we all should celebrate when we get it done. Nicole's absolutely right. The window is fairly narrow. Part of what's happening is there's economic recovery. There's a lot of tax dollars coming in, and so there's a lot of tax dollars coming in. People start getting hungry, and they want to start having their industry get tax breaks. we don't get it done in the next year or two, then yeah, it's 2 or 3 years down the road, and we don't know what the economic situation looks like, another recession, no more tax cuts on the table, that kind of thing. So I completely 100% agree. Now's the window. As far as ADI, using this as a profit motive thing, I can't speak to that. That's not the intention of trying to raise funds among individual members to support the lobbying effort. It's not intended to go to ADI to have it be a profit center for ADI.